You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a bit of an entertainment roundup. So since I've been back, and this is going into, I believe, my third week now, I've been doing most of my static videos in the weekend and then trying to upload them during the week. But one thing I've been missing out on is a lot of daily things going on in the entertainment industry. And while it's great to always talk about Godzilla, because I know many of you like that, I still kind of want to keep up with what's going on in the entertainment industry. And as I told you before, while those recorded formats will also have the green screen and all that, when it comes to daily events or daily updates or news things to talk about, they're going to be in this format because it's pretty much a spot-on, unplanned video, and I just kind of turn on the OBS, turn on the mic, and get going. So what I want to do in this video is going to be a bit of a roundup. It's going to be sort of a podcast. And for those of you who don't like viewing long videos, I will be breaking these down into smaller videos over the course of the next couple of days. But I just want to cover a lot of the things that have happened in pretty much the last 2 weeks in both entertainment and gaming. And I want to start with the Star Wars celebration. So that happened this past weekend. Big event. Everybody gets together. Disney and Lucasfilm announce all their upcoming projects, things of that nature. And of course, the big thing coming out of this past weekend was the trailer for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. And I thought it was a good trailer. It raises a lot of questions, you know, and it also somewhat promises on things that I hope it delivers. You know, at the end of the trailer, we had the laugh of Emperor Palpatine. And while I don't expect him to be a major character, if even alive, I do expect him to play a role. A lot of people are speculating a Force Ghost. We've never seen a Sith Force Ghost, but that doesn't mean they can't do it, right? And I suspect that perhaps if he is a Force Ghost, maybe he's been tugging the strings of Kylo Ren all this time, which is one of the reasons why Kylo Ren killed Snoke. So, that's the speculation. That's just one of the first things I thought about. I thought the trailer was pretty good. I'm hoping that J.J. Abrams can finish this as strong as they can. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the last movie. I was fine with Force Awakens. I still think to this date the best recent Star Wars film of this new era is Rogue One. I still believe that's the best one they've done so far. So obviously a lot of people are very excited about that. A lot of people are very excited that J.J. Abrams is back. And obviously we're going to see that promotion ramp up as the year progresses. So that was one of the big things to happen. The second big announcement was The Mandalorian. And I did get to see someone uploaded. I don't know if it's uploaded anymore. I'm not going to post a link because many of you know I got in trouble last time with Warner Brothers for posting a link to the 5-minute Godzilla spot that was in theaters. But I got to see some of the, you know, I guess it was a trailer / mini, like 5 or 3.5, 4-minute not documentary, but just showing you kind of like the background of what they were doing, some of the behind the scenes work, and also showing some footage. And it looks very good. It looks pretty promising. You know, I'm very interested in seeing that. And that's going to debut on the Disney Network, which is coming out later this year. And as far as we know so far, it's going to be $6.99 a month or $69.99 for the year. And this is a show that's going to launch with it. And then following up The Mandalorian as time progresses, you're going to get some of these Disney produced Marvel shows that they've been talking about, like Loki, Scarlet Witch and Vision, things of that nature. And they're also going to be pretty much all other Disney type movies. I believe the vault is going to be open on the stream service. It's not going to be all open in one day. They're going to obviously strategically put things out as time progresses. And I suspect that with that, the price will go up monthly. So I think signing up for the $69.99 yearly bargain is probably the best way to go, because it saves you about $10 from the monthly price. And like I said, I suspect that within 6 months it'll go up to $7 or $8.99 once they start adding more content. So at least by signing up for $69.99, you kind of lock yourself in there. The other big announcement during the Star Wars celebration was Jedi Fallen Order, a new game coming out. And the good news about this is that EA has announced that this will be a campaign type game. It won't be multiplayer, and there will be no microtransactions. So if this stands true, and for their benefit, better, I believe that's a good start. That's a good start to the news. in terms of a new game. People have been clamoring for a Jedi Order game for the longest time. Or not Jedi Order, but a Star Wars game that's single-player campaign story mode. And Jedi Order looks to be that game that people have been waiting for. Hopefully it delivers in terms of gameplay and mechanics. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But with good news also comes some unfortunate news. And one of the things following up the Jedi Fallen Order announcement was an article that was recently published complaining that the game has a white protagonist and things of that nature. The only thing I gotta say to this is I don't know. We don't know too much about this game right now. One thing I've learned from games like this is that usually there is some customization to your character. I don't know if this character we saw in this, because it was purely a cinematic trailer. It was no gameplay footage. So I'm not sure if this character that we saw is all we're going to get, is all we get to use, or if there's some customization involved. I think, first of all, it shouldn't matter what the color is. It doesn't matter if it's black, white, green. It doesn't matter if it's a Twi'lek, whatever. It's a character. It's a game character. I personally don't feel people should be getting worked up because a character happens to be white. It is a video game, nothing more, nothing less. If you truly are not a racist and you're against racism, then color shouldn't matter no matter what you see. But with that said, I'm hoping for some customization regardless. I like to make my own characters. So we'll see about that. But unfortunately, like I said, there's always a bit of bad news or a bit of controversy every time something big is announced. Another thing I wanted to talk about regarding the Star Wars celebration, this is a big deal, and I don't see too many people talking about it, and I wanted to bring it to light. And before I even get into it, I want to give credit to comics artist Pro Secrets, Ethan Van Sciver. This is a video I saw him produce the other day regarding something that happened, or that's been happening on Twitter regarding Star Wars and regarding this whole movement for Reylo, which is this movement of fans that are very obsessed with the idea of Kylo Ren and Rey hooking up, being a couple, having sex, and all these things. And, to each his own, right? I mean, you hear that kind of stuff and you're like, all right, whatever. If that's what they want, that's their fantasy. That's what they like to talk about. No harm, no foul. Unfortunately, it goes a little bit deeper than that. And if you want to see the video, because obviously Comics Artist Pro gives more details on this than I will. This is kind of a roundup video. So I'm going to give you the gist of it. But if you want to see in detail exactly what's going on, definitely go to this channel and check out this video. But essentially what's going on is that on Twitter, there have also been these same fans, not all of them now, I want to be fair. It's not all the Reylo followers or the Reylo believers, but a certain portion of them are beginning to take their fantasy outside of the realm of Star Wars, and they want it to be a reality. And what I mean by this is that they want Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver to hook up. Now, the problem with that is that Adam Driver is married and has a child. Well, apparently on Twitter, these people have been doxing the Driver family. And what I mean by doxing, if you don't know what that is people who investigate you, they follow you, they try to find out more personal information like your phone number, where you live, things of that nature. And they've been doing this and also expressing hopes of them separating Adam Driver and his wife at any means necessary, whether it means she accidentally gets killed or she goes to jail because of child endangerment. They were talking about things like their child being killed or falling out of a window. It's really insane. And the reason they've been able to do this and get away with it is because when they refer to the actor or his wife or his child by name, they put an asterisk after the first letter, and that prevents it from hyperlinking. So you cannot, it doesn't link back to the name. It's kind of harder to investigate. But credit to Ethan Van Sciver for doing his homework and doing his research. And if you actually want to see those tweets and these exchanges between these fans, go check out his video. It's pretty amazing how sick people are. And if you guys have been on my channel for a little while, even recently, you know that I've been talking about how entertainment and the whole stratosphere of entertainment has changed a lot. But it's not only the entertainment industry. It's not only game developers. It's not only movie actors and directors, and it's also fans that are getting crazy. It's a vicious circle. And this is an example of, here's a family that, they're a celebrity family. He's an actor, and they're being essentially harassed. And like I said, go check out the video. But if I recall, they have been almost travel living. They have different like places they live. Obviously, celebrities own multiple houses or have little condos, places they like to stay depending on their work. Well, they have been traveling between their places of living or the places they own to kind of avoid any kind of trouble. And it's really kind of shitty. It's really shitty that, again, if you have this crazy fantasy of Kylo and Rey hooking up, that's look, you're entitled to that. But if it gets to the point, if your obsession gets to the point where you're trying to dox the family and you're actually trying to push a narrative of Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver hooking up at the expense of his wife and his child, I think that's pretty sick. And I think it's tasteless. And these are people that just this is why I tell you guys I hardly ever go on Twitter for this kind of shit. It's just horrible. It's horrible, and that's just it's just bad. It's just bad. So so overall though, I think the Star Wars Celebration was a big success. I do think they have some good things coming up. There was another announcement regarding the Knights of the Old Republic. I'm finding out now that Kathleen Kennedy did not word for word say Knights of the Old Republic. She just alluded to more projects coming up, and obviously mentioning Rian Johnson, which how he's still employed there is beyond me. And then also mentioning the creators of Game of Thrones. So I'm still hoping for a Knights of the Old Republic. That's really a part of the Star Wars lore that would really get me back into Star Wars full stream like I was 20 years ago. But and not that I'm not excited for this last chapter, but my excitement for Star Wars has waned over the years, especially after The Last Jedi. That was just a bad taste in my mouth that I just still haven't gotten over. But in terms of this last movie, of course, I'm going to give it an opportunity. It's J.J. Abrams. I do like what he did with the first movie, and I'm hoping he can salvage this last portion of this Skywalker saga. So overall, I think, Star Wars, it is what it is now. We just got to hope that the next movie does well. We got to hope that The Mandalorian delivers, and hope that whatever they have working on in the future delivers as well. So, that's that. Okay, moving on to some other entertainment-related topics. Once again, Brie Larson is back in the news. And many of you probably heard this by now. I actually have the full clip. I will link it in the description so you can watch for yourself. But there's been some clips showing Brie Larson kind of snapping at Chris Hemsworth regarding basically she had talked about doing her own stunts, and he kind of looked at her and said, oh, like Tom Cruise, and she just snapped at him like, no, not like Tom Cruise, like I want to be the first me. Anyway, and there's some other portions of that interview. I've watched the whole interview now. It's about 8 minutes. Like I said, I'll put it in the description. You guys can check it out and judge for yourself. So I did watch the whole interview several times, and initially it seems harmless, right? It's him, it's Brie Larson, Chris Hemsworth, and Don Cheadle answering questions for Entertainment Tonight. And again, it starts off harmless, and then you kind of see that things take a little bit of a turn. Now, I can't 100% necessarily say that there's friction there, but I can't also necessarily say there isn't friction there, because there were a couple of interactions, not with just Brie Larson and Chris Hemsworth, but there was even a few very small incidences, even with Don Cheadle, where I would say if you watch this, pay attention to watch it through the first time like natural, like you would. Then watch it again and pay attention to all their faces, because the faces are what really gives away what's going on here. Yes, there's a lot of sarcasm. There's a lot of what appears to be joking around, but there's also, I think you can definitely sense there's some underlying issues here. Now, we've already heard all the rumors regarding a lot of the cast, or a good portion of the cast, are not too fond of Brie Larson. Considering how she spoke at certain intervals during this interview, I get that. She seems very excited about her position in the Marvel Universe right now. And I think you kind of get the idea that maybe it's going to her head a little bit. She comes off very arrogant in this. Even if you don't agree or don't see any underlying issues there, she still comes off very, very arrogant. And you kind of see the look on Don Cheadle and Chris Hemsworth's face in between some of these interactions. Now, again, this could be all just a joke and whatever, but I think you would be intellectually ingenuous if you come out of this saying everything's cool. It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem bad. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. To be fair, people are just cutting a certain portion of the interview. I do think you need to see the whole interview to get a better context. And I do agree that I think there's some play there. There's some joking around. But I also think there are some underlying things. And these are three professional actors who know the impact of doing a public interview and showing animosity. So they're going to clean themselves up, or they're going to try and pass it off as joking around. But all you have to do is look at somebody's body language, and you can tell if there's an underlying issue. And I do believe there is an underlying issue there. So I'll leave the link in the description. Check that out. Let me know what you think. That would be interesting to see what people think. And, you know, Brie Larson, look, I try to separate her as a person from what she does on screen. I did mention that while I don't like her as a person, and I'm liking her a lot less the more I see of her, I didn't have an issue with Captain Marvel. I didn't think it was anything special. I think they could have done better picking another actress. I don't think the movie would have suffered without Brie Larson, but this is what we have now, and this is what we're going to have to, I guess, live with for as long as Marvel wants her to be on screen. And if their future plans are to have her lead the way, I'm not too sure how that's going to go. You know, there's not a lot of people out there who separate the person from the character they portray. A lot of people, if they don't like the person, they're not going to be interested in their movie. There's very few people like that. Again, I try to be fair. I know they're playing a character, and sometimes people are very egotistic, but you can't take away their talent if they have a talent to act. I do think she has some talent. I think when I saw the movie, I did agree that I think people were a little bit too hard on the fact that she wasn't smiling or that she was being too serious. Once I saw the movie fleshed out, I got a better understanding of that. But again, it still wasn't the greatest movie. It was okay. You know, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. It wasn't anything we hadn't seen before. Let's put it that way. Staying with the Avengers, there was also an Avengers leak this week. And I'm not going to lie, I saw it. I'm not going to talk about it here, so don't worry. There's not going to be any spoilers. I would get in a lot of trouble if I spoke about it. And furthermore, I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want to know. What I will say about it is that if you're a comic reader, it wouldn't have been as spoilery as it's coming off to be. And if you're not a comic reader, then you would have been ruined to a great degree. A lot of what people speculated, you know, is pretty much there. So that would be no surprise. But there are a good chunk of surprises, even in that small clip, that would ruin it for people. The only thing I would say was 5 minutes worth of footage does not make a 3-hour movie. So, but that's all I'm going to say on that. I was cool with what I saw. I'm not going to get too enthusiastic. I don't want to give too much away, even by my excitement. So I'm going to try and stay level. But, you know, it comes out next week. I will review the movie here on the channel Thursday night when I come back. That will be Thursday, so it'll be up late. But if nothing else, it'll be up for you guys when you get up the next day. I'll share my thoughts, and I'll do a spoiler review. And that Friday stream will be Avengers heavy with spoilers and speculation for the future. So yeah, so that's that. So I want to move on to gaming. You know, I've said time and time again, I always like talking about games. I love playing games, this and that. I don't, for some reason, it always seems to fall to the wayside on my channel because of all the other things going on. But I want to take this opportunity to definitely cover games because there's been a lot going on with games as well. You know, there's been a lot of looter shooters coming out lately, or Fortnite type games, battle royales, and one looter shooter that came out that is just dreadfully going bad right now. It was a shooter that when I saw I had no interest in. I'm just tired of the shooting games. There's just so many of them that it's really, really running its course, at least for me. I can understand why companies keep doing it. It's a popular genre. People seem to keep buying it, and it's getting to the point where it's becoming very formulaic. So Anthem has been a big disaster. Big disaster. Not only in terms of the game's performance, but also the workflow. There was an article on Kotaku about a week and a half ago regarding some employees talking about the working conditions and how this game took 7 years. They were working on it for 7 years, but actual production of the game wasn't for the last 18 months before release. They really had no direction. There was no story. The flight part of the game, which is one of the rare and few highlights of the game right now, wasn't even implemented. That was something they decided to put back in later. It was just a big mess. And so as it stands now, it looks like this game has completely failed. There's been a lot of people mainly complaining about the loot drops. And, this ties into something I talked about in my Lenny's Tough Talk episode 1, where, this gaming industry is really getting me. I have not bought a game in a long time because I have just lost complete faith in the gaming industry to deliver a fully priced game that is complete and performs well. And I feel good about my decision because as we see, these games keep coming out and they keep falling worse and worse. Fallout 76 was a big disaster when it came out. I'm not sure what the conditions are now. I do know some of you guys play it. And if you enjoy it, that's great. I'm not knocking the game. I have not played it, so who knows? Maybe I would like it. But I just don't have enough faith and enough belief right now in some of these developers to deliver on these games they're releasing. And what makes it worse is that a lot of these developers are just firing back at the fans, which to me, I'm a traditionalist. You know what I mean? I'm an old guy. You guys can see that, right? So when I said this in my Tough Talk first video, and I'm going to say it here in an uncomedic way because this is true. It's basic science and math, right? Someone provides a product, we provide the money for that product and the service. We expect to get value for what we spent. So when these companies deliver a game that is uncompleted, has issues, and they're taking the full amount of money from us for a AAA title, and then we bitch and moan when it doesn't live up to expectations or is wildly unfinished, and then for them to snap back at the audience, that right there is why I will not spend money on a AAA game anymore, at least not out the gate. I'm at the point now that when a game comes out, I sit back and I wait, and I want to hear what people, I don't even read reviews anymore because reviews are very biased now. These reviews, they can only tear a game up so much before they lose their access and all that. A lot of them do get bought out. So I trust in other players. And if I read forums and I read that other players are enjoying it, they really like it, then I feel a little bit more confident to pick it up. If there's a demo available, I'll try the demo. I refuse now to buy a game outright. I refuse to do a pre-order. I'm looking forward to April 26th when Days Gone comes out. I've been eyeing that game for a while. But as excited as I am for that game, I'm still not going to buy it day one. I'll wait. I'll wait a couple of weeks to see what people have to say about it. Now, we have the PlayStation 5 that was announced, okay? And some of the good things coming out about it is backwards compatibility, things of that nature. And I got to say, I think I'm going to wait on this too. Like, I was a first day, I got my PS4 delivered to my house. I took the day off. I knew when it was going to be delivered. It was going to be delivered on the day it was, the day it was released. And I was excited. And to this day, I'm not disappointed about that purchase. My PS4, which is a day one edition PS4, still runs beautifully. I've never had any issues with it. Never had to upgrade it. I've never even had to upgrade the hard drive. Okay, I kind of filter my games in and out. But this time I'm not going to do it because I just don't have faith in developers right now. What I see happening is this system's going to come out. It might be great. It might be a fantastic system. But the way these companies are exercising how they develop their games and what they release, I'm not going to spend $400, $500, $600 on a console that I'm not going to have any games to play on. I mean, even with my PS4, as much as I love it, the first few weeks or even the first month or so, there wasn't that much available. So while I'm still very happy with my purchase because I got a lot of mileage out of my PS4, I've never had to replace it. There was still issues back then with the amount of games that were available on launch. But even the few games that were available, I remember them being complete. I remember when I first played Killzone, it was a complete game. When I had Assassin's Creed Black Flag, it was a complete game. I don't feel that confident this time around. So I'm not going to be a day one PS4 purchaser, and it's not because of Sony. It's simply because of the fact that I just don't think they're going to have any games available for it, and whatever games will be available are not going to be complete. I'm hoping that more people try to take this approach because I really think the game industry, more than the entertainment and movie industry, is screwing us over royally. And the fact that people continue to buy these games expecting this practice to change baffles my mind. We have to try and exercise patience because, it's sad that I just look at all these games that I'm interested in and they turn out to be garbage. The vision is beautiful. What is spoken about? I mean, even Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, it looks great. That was a wonderful cinematic trailer, but we didn't see any gameplay. So, the gaming industry right now is not doing too well, in my opinion. I have no desire right now to buy anything that's released. Borderlands 3 has already fucked up. When it was announced, I was like, oh, good, because I didn't really play too much of the first two. And I'm really looking forward to the third one. I really wanted to dive into it. But now they have announced that it's exclusively for Epic Game Store, which I have zero interest in getting into, which means that I'd have to buy it for a console. But now here's the question. Do I buy it for a PS4 or do I get it for the next PS5 that's supposed to be coming out next year? And then to top that off, there's also rumors going around that the game is geared very heavily towards the multiplayer. And I'm not interested in that. I don't want a small 4-hour campaign and then being forced to play multiplayer all the time. So, again, it's going to have to be a wait and see type of approach. As much as I'm excited for that game, I'm not going to get it day one. I'm not going to pre-order it. What do they have, like a $250 package? So, these are the things right now that just kind of have me annoyed with the gaming industry. And it sucks. It sucks because it's like I have a lot of games that I can still play and I can catch up on. But there's still a lot of games coming out that I would like to try. But I've lost the confidence of many of these game industries to deliver. And until they start delivering, which I don't foresee, because unfortunately we have customers and fans out there that have no patience and they feel obligated to stand up and defend these companies if they end up spending the full amount of money for a game that's just inadequate. So, we'll see. I'm going to just be an observer. I'm going to sit back and observe. And if a game comes out that a lot of people are raving about, it gets good reviews from, like content creators and maybe Twitch streamers. I'm not really going to rely on the gaming websites because I think they're worth a shit. They talk more about identity politics in gaming than actual gaming. There was one gamer who was one reviewer or one article writer who was complaining about the difficulty in Sekiro, which was another From Software Souls type of game. So he was complaining about the difficulty, and it's like, well, if you can't handle it, don't play it. Don't sit there and clamor for an easy mode because it doesn't meet your standards, which, may I add, are pretty low standards. I mean, From Software has developed some of the best games in the last couple of years, and in my opinion, they've gotten better. I remember when I first played Demon Souls, which evolved into the Dark Souls series, and then, you had Bloodborne. So I don't think it's the game developer. I think it's the player. And they are hard games, but you got to be able to stick with it. But anyway, so game industry, yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on that because we haven't talked about it a whole lot. One of the videos that I didn't get to, unfortunately, upload this past week was my second Lenny Tough Talk episode. And the reason I wasn't able to do that was because the audio on the file got corrupted after I had recorded like a good 10-minute video. But I will cover the subject of what that video was. And what it was about was Blizzard. And here's a company that I adore. I have loved Blizzard games for many, many years. And what a fall from grace. So if you haven't heard the story, apparently what happened was about 2 weekends ago, every weekend Blizzard holds the Overwatch League, which is an esports league that you can watch on Twitch every weekend. And it's a big league. I mean, they got, like all these teams that represent different cities. They're all in different divisions. I mean, it's like a major league team. And every weekend they play for playoff position, this and that. Well, after one of the matches, there was one of these players being interviewed, and in the background, you could see somebody hold up the OK sign. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this by now. This shouldn't be a new story. But in case you don't know, what happened was Blizzard decided to ban that sign within their tournaments or their league play because it represents white nationalism or white supremacy, either or. Now, a lot of other YouTubers talked about this. A lot of other content creators went about this So I'm probably not going to be saying anything that's any different. There was a video uploaded to esports channel that covers the Overwatch League. I wish I could remember the name of the channel. I did have it up for that video, but now because it's been, I think, since last Thursday or Friday that I recorded that, I don't remember the name of the channel, but it's a 3-minute video where the gentleman is trying to explain why exactly it is not okay to use that sign, which is absolutely 100% absurd, completely absurd. And in this video, he talks about the beginning or the origins of this. And the origins was a Reddit meme. So already in the beginning, he's admitting that this is a meme. Okay? So he's basically been trolled right off the bat in his video. And then he goes on to say how while it started as a meme, it kind of transformed into white nationalism. He pointed out how the murderer from Australia, the one who killed all those people in that mosque, how he put up that sign as he was being arraigned. Fine. That does not mean we completely give up doing this because people who are not good are doing it. You know, people who are not good, evil people, murderers, rapists, whatever you want to, whatever category they fall under, they do things that good people do, okay, every day. So we can't stop doing some of these things because other people do it. If anything, we should be more vigilant in expressing ourselves the way we should to show them that they have no power over us. And if you're going to go by this logic that this man explains in the video, well, then you might as well not take a shit. I hate to say it like that, but I mean, bad people take shits. So if we don't want to associate with them by your logic, you can't use the bathroom anymore, guys. Just got to pee. Can't pee either. They do that too. You understand what I'm getting at? So, and that's the problem here is that there's a certain group of people in the entertainment industry that are very weak-minded, Some of them are weak-minded. Some of them are trolls, I mean, there's no better way to get attention than by stating negative things, okay? If you put something out negative, unfortunately, it attracts more viewers. It attracts more people to come and read about it or watch it or indulge in that content. So when somebody does a crazy article with a crazy title, even if it's something they may not believe in, they know they're going to get the traffic they want. So we really need to be vigilant in not giving too much attention to idiotic things, but also not accepting what other people have to say. Here's two perfect examples. One is as recent as a couple of days ago. And I mentioned this on The Nation today. And this was regarding Netflix, who made a post saying that they wanted people to stop referring to romantic comedies as chick flicks, which they were met with huge resistance, and rightfully so. Now, obviously, no one is going to do that. No one's going to listen to Netflix. But the reason people react the way they do is because of the principle behind it. Who are you to say what I can and can't say? That's the whole point. We cannot let people, even if it's something as minute, even if it seems very innocent and minute and idiotic, it's good to still talk back against that because you don't want to get into the habit of brushing things off, because the last thing you want to do is try and brush off the big one. Try and brush off the big moment where there might be change, because while we're all indulging in our entertainment, our love for entertainment, on the outskirts, there is an attempt now to put in legislation to uphold or stop certain speech. And this is what I mean when I say things start on the top and they roll downhill, because there were some people on The Nation who didn't agree with me expressing this. And these are people who have expressed in the past that they don't like political discussion in their entertainment. I 100% agree. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury anymore. That luxury is gone. Every time, because I do pay attention to the news, I pay attention to politics, it affects me. I have children, I have family. I want to make sure that there's legislation being passed that's going to benefit me and my family, not make life harder. That's why I'm big on tax cuts. I don't want to pay more taxes to the government. I work hard for my money. I want to keep most of it. So there is a legislation, or there is an attempt to twist speech now, and this is on a political level that many of you guys may not pay attention to. There is a lot of talk now and a lot of an attempt to put some limitations on speech. Every time there's a discussion at the top, at the political spectrum, it filters and falls down into the entertainment industry. It only takes a couple of days. It doesn't take long. But all the talking points that I hear in politics, I hear the same talking points in entertainment. And this is why I get aggravated. This is why I get so upset when I hear these things. Because you have people who follow politics, then you have people who follow entertainment. But there's only a certain group of people who follow both. So if you're into your entertainment and you don't know what's going on in politics, then these things don't look like a big deal to you. Or if you're too involved in the politics and you love the entertainment, but you know what I mean? Like it's both ways. You know, I think it's important to know what's going on both ends of the spectrum so you can protect that escapism that you love so much, so that you can, reserve the entertainment value without the injection of the politics. And I think that's important. It's important now because a lot of these people know that people that love entertainment, that are on Twitter, and people that are, on Facebook or watching YouTube, and they know that you're not paying attention to the politics. So they're going to take the same talking points they want from the political spectrum and try and inject them here, knowing that you're just not going to take it seriously. But before you know it, take a look around, guys. Most of the big websites, Forbes, IGN, Kotaku, who's now being sold away, a lot of the major mainstream media entertainment outlets are run by these people who are trying to push this agenda. The people who are against this are content creators, which is why if you go to an article and you read certain articles bashing certain content creators or trying to call them out with falsities about how they conduct themselves, it doesn't take a lot to notice this. Just pay attention for 48 hours. The news cycle is wicked fast. Pay attention for 48 hours and you'll see. This is why I'm more into paying attention to the content creators, because the articles are all the same on every site. It's all the same shit. It's a talking point. So I know people get frustrated, like on the Nation Facebook page, when I mention things like what happened with Netflix. But I mention that because I'm trying to make people aware of what's going on here. Remember, I've been doing content since 2013. We're now in 2019. And let me tell you, the shift from then to now is significant. And it bothers me because much like you guys, I don't want politics in my entertainment. I know where to go for politics. And when I want to escape that, I have my video games, my movies and TV shows. But once a company like Netflix starts trying to control or even make, and I understand this, it's a very futile attempt. No one's going to buy it. But the principle that they're even trying is a concern. And it shouldn't be ignored. That's all I'm trying to say. Another good point of this about the whole bait, bringing people in, and you need to kind of know when somebody's trying to troll you versus somebody who's actually trying to make an impact with their signaling or their politics. This goes back to the Godzilla thing. So if you saw the last TV spot for Godzilla, there was a scene where I think his name is Tom Middleditch thought that Zhang Yi said gonorrhea. I recently did a video about this, my last TV spot review. Well, shortly thereafter, I think about several days later, somebody made an article that was titled, and I think it was on comicbooks.com, and the title of the article was Ghidorah does not or is not an STD. Well, no shit. I don't think anybody would think the monster is an actual STD. But this is the kind of title that suckers you into reading the article, because when you actually read the article, there really is nothing there about him even explaining why it's not an STD. And why doesn't he explain that? Because he knows people are smart enough to know that Ghidorah is not indeed an STD. But he made the title that way because he knew it would trigger some people into reading the article. And all you have to do is read the whole article to realize it's just a regular article. It's nothing special. But he knew that title would bring you in. So, and there's a lot of this going on. If it's negative, it's going to get attention. If it's positive, people don't care as much. That's unfortunate, but unfortunately, that's just the way of the world right now. But we still need to be vigilant and kind of pay attention to what's going on around us, because the entertainment that you love and enjoy now, okay, if you continue to ignore some of this push that's coming into the industry, and much harder than it used to. In the past, this kind of involvement used to be very background. Okay, now it's right in the forefront. It's in your face. There are articles, there are websites, there are media outlets that are trying to convince you to like a certain thing or think a certain way. And I know just because we don't fall for it does not mean we should let them continue to do it. All right? It's basically propaganda. And that we don't need propaganda entertainment. For what? We just want our entertainment nice and clean. You know, we don't want any bullshit in it. We don't want anybody coming at us with their talking points, and, you know, leave that for the politics. Leave that for the liars and the bullshitters at Washington Hill, at Capitol Hill in Washington. We don't need that in our entertainment. And we certainly don't need anyone forcing down our throat what to like or what not to like. And we're also entitled to our opinion. You know, now we have people being criticized for making their opinion. And for what? I mean, I'm paying the entertainment industry to entertain me. If you do not provide the entertainment that I pay for, I'm going to criticize you. That's how it works. And that critique should be taken and should be used to improve. But unfortunately, we have a certain portion of Hollywood, and we have a certain portion of the game industry that are very sensitive. They're very woke, and I know you've heard that term before, but that's what it is. They're woke, or at least they believe they are, and they believe that you should pretty much enjoy whatever they give you. And it doesn't work that way. And they're trying to tell you that if you don't like it, then you're a woman hater, or you're a racist, or for what? There's just no need for all that. So, but anyway, guys, look, I know this podcast type vlog video has been 40 minutes. I will be cutting this up into shorter segments going forward. You know, I just kind of wanted to touch up and kind of briefly recap everything that's gone on in the last week, and kind of get caught up. And then we'll continue to do videos in this format when news pops up or things that we should discuss, because you know, like I said, there will be Godzilla videos. We didn't do a top 5 today because I wanted to do this, but tomorrow will be the Fringe video. This one's, I think I'm doing creepypastas. There will be Godzilla videos. I'm kind of delaying my Godzilla videos right now because they just released what Mothra sounds like in the movie. You know, her roar. And I'm assuming that they're going to be releasing the rest over the next couple of days. So I'm hoping to just do one video regarding all of them, as opposed to just one video for each monster. But if they don't release any more by tomorrow, because I don't think they released any today. Last time I saw, they didn't release any more. So if they don't release a good portion of them or all of them tomorrow, then I'll just do whichever ones are up. We'll do those in individual videos, and then we'll just cover them as they come out. We will be streaming once again Friday night. That's a regular thing. Like I said, I will have some videos up tomorrow, and then we'll just keep going from there. So if you don't watch this whole video, don't worry about it. Like I said, I will be cutting it down into smaller videos. I just kind of wanted to cover the Star Wars celebration, some of my issues with the gaming and the industry as it stands now, and also talk about this whole trolling and once again, the injection of politics and social justice into mainstream entertainment, which is just horrible right now. You know, and I do think people should be aware of it. But you know, again, that's all I think, is that you should be aware. Whether or not you decide to say something or do something about it, that's totally up to you. I know a lot of people don't like to get involved. It's unfortunate, but you know, I think there are enough people involved right now to make a difference. And I know I'm always going to say my piece because I have no hair on my tongue. I'm always going to speak my mind. So, but anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you tomorrow. And like I said, this will be cut up into smaller videos. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, that's fine. I'm just going to upload it tonight to get it out there. And then smaller portions of it will be available over the course of the next couple of days. Until next time, this is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news. We just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.